Hi kids, my name is Sion and today I'm going to be reading out Ira Investigates the Invisible. Its author is Menaka Raman and its illustrator is Anjura Noruna and it's published by Pratham Books. Where did I put the petri dish? Oh hello! Have you seen a small glass of dish with a lid? It's for an important experiment I'm doing. I put about 1 billion cells inside it. I know what you're thinking. How can you fit 1 billion of anything inside a small dish? My name is Dr. Ira and I am a microbiologist. I'm not the kind of doctor you see when you have fever or an earache. I'm a doctor that studies invisible things. I know that sounds ridiculous, but let me explain. What if I told you that all around us, in the air, soil, water, and even inside us, in our stomachs, noses, and ears, are thousands, no, millions, no, trillions of tiny living creatures called microbes? Ew, yuck, chee. There are around 1 trillion kinds of microbes on our planet. While each of these microbes looks different, and live in their different habitats, most microbes can be broadly be divided into bacteria, virus, fungi, algae, and protozoa. As a microbiologist, I spend my time studying bacteria. Would you like to see where I work? Welcome to my lab. Yuck! What's that smell? This is the orange that has been sitting on my friend Tashi's desk for a week now. See how it's covered in green fuzz? That's fungus. Shall we take a closer look? Let's use a microscope. It helps us see things that our eyes aren't powerful enough to see on their own. I know they look scary, but some microbes can be very helpful. For an instance, this fungus tells us the orange is spoiled and that we shouldn't eat it. Did you know that there are microbes that can eat plastic? They could help solve plastic pollution. Not all microbes are friendly though. Some types of bacteria, E. coli, can cause tummy ache. But if we get to know them better and understand why they make us sick, we can try and prevent illness. That's why I study how E. coli cells react to change in their environment. I use some very cool tools to do this. Petri dish, a circular transparent dish with a flat lid used to maintain microbes in a certain conditions. Microscope, an instrument which makes really small objects look bigger by magnifying them. Pipette, a slender tube with a bulb at one end used for transferring or measuring small quantities of liquid. Autoclave, a strong heated container that uses high pressure and temperature for chemical reaction and other processes. Let's ask Tashi if he's seen my petri dish and tell him to throw away that orange. Hi Tashi. Tashi was my friend at university. When I first came here to study, I felt lost. I didn't speak much English and all my classes were hard. Plus, everyone else seemed so smart and I just couldn't keep up. I wanted to give up so many times and just go home. But how could I? I'm the first woman in my family to go to college and they supported me in every step on my way. I didn't want to let them down or myself down. Besides, I love exploring this invisible world around me. So I kept trying. Learning to not give up is important, especially when you're a microbiologist. Because a lot of the experiments I do fail. What keeps me going is when things work. It's so exciting when you learn something that no one else knows yet. But even when things don't work out, it's alright. It helps me ask the next question. Like, where is my petri dish? Tashi hasn't seen it either. I need to do the experiment again. Will you keep me company? I'm going to take some E. coli, grow it in a conical flask, and see what happens. When I don't give it enough to eat, I'll take another E. coli sample in a second flask and give it food. Then I'll wait and see what happens to the number of E. coli in both these flasks. This is called making an observation. After the experiment is completed, I'll compare the E. coli's growth in both the flasks and write down my observations. These are results of my experiment. It will help me answer the question, does the amount of food affect the growth of E. coli? What I learned from the result is called a inference. A typical E. coli growth experiment takes 10 to 12 hours to complete. Since I need to sit here and watch the cells the entire time, I read about new discoveries and attend meetings and talk to other scientists about their work. This is important because I learn exciting new things from them and often get ideas of my own work. Sometimes we also just sit around and have tea and chat. Scientists may seem very serious, but really we are just like you and your friends. We like to play hockey, sing in the shower, and read scary storybooks. We are also curious about the world around us. We like to ask questions constantly. Why or why not? How? What if? We are like detectives who look for clues that help answer all the fascinating questions, even if they're inside your stomach. Speaking of which, I'm hungry. Let's eat. Tashi, grow your own mold. That fungus that grows on old food is called mold. To grow your own mold, take a piece of leftover roti or a slice of stale bread. Sprinkle it with water. Place it on a plate and cover it with clear glass bowl. Keep it at room temperature and out of direct sunlight for 2 days. Check the food and see if it's white, blue, green or grey fuzz has appeared on it. Leave it alone for 2 or more days and then check on it. How does the mold look now? Make a note. Repeat this every 2 days until 10 days. What do you think will happen? The water and the room temperature create perfect conditions for growing mold. The mold will look different on different items of food. That is because different kinds of mold spores like some foods better than others. At the end of 10 days, carefully dispose of the moldy food with help of your teacher. Maybe you could add it to a compost pit. Thank you guys. I hope you liked it.